nicknamed the Crocodile Hunter. He was an Australian zookeeper, television personality, and wildlife expert. He changed the world. Steve Irwin. The best quote that I found to describe Steve and how he changed the world was a quote from his wife, Terry. And she said, "He changed the world by giving everyone the message that if you can reach out and touch and love and be with wildlife, you will forever be changed and you will want to make the world a better place. Because if everybody does something, we'll be okay." Welcome, Steve Irwin.
He's very excited. You know, he just jumped in front of me and he just wears the same like khaki pants and khaki shirt like he does everywhere. He's just waving. He's like, "Hello, everybody." He seems very excited. He's like, "Thank you for having me." He's just a fun guy. He really is. I don't know where he gets all that energy, but he can give me some. I've already asked today. Please give me some energy. Send some to Pam. Pam wants some energy. He's saying, "You got it. You got it."
Good on you, Steve. Good on you, Steve. Are we starting with questions? Is Steve ready for questions?
Oh, he says, "I'm ready. I'm always ready." But he says, "Okay, well, maybe," he says, "before we start, or before I answer any of your questions," he says, "I'm ready for the questions. Don't get me wrong. But before we answer any questions, I really want to use this opportunity to tell my family that I love them, that I'm with them every day, and so is Mom. And I really want to tell Bindi, I love you so, 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 so much." And he says, "I am so happy to see you to always follow your heart. You know, you got your stubbornness from me, and that's fine." And he says, "I'm glad you're using your stubbornness to continue to follow your heart and to not listen to anybody who just feels like they want to attack you." And he says, "I want you to know that you looked so beautiful on your wonderful day. And I was there with you. And I walked down the aisle with you. And I just want to welcome Chandler into our family. And I just want to say it was a beautiful day. And I never left. And you know that. And everybody knows that I was there. And you recognize that and you acknowledge that. And that was really nice," he says. "That was really warm-hearting. But I want my family to know that I am there every moment, and I am there. I'm not going to miss anything. And I just want to say, Bindi, that I love you so, so much." And to Bob, you know, I'm so proud of you for just being you. You know, please don't doubt your own heart. Please don't doubt your own intentions so much, and really trust your gut instincts a little bit more. Okay, you gotta trust your instincts, mate. You gotta do it. You're still too doubtful because you are trying to be perfect. Stop trying to be perfect, but follow that intuitive guidance that's always inside of you, that's always telling you what to do, when to step back, when to move forward. You have to learn to listen to that inner flow that's inside of you. He says, "Okay, mate, it's so important for you. And you have to know that you're amazing and you're perfect in every way. And don't try to be me, okay? Try to be you. Be the best you that you can be, and always follow what feels right to you, okay? Don't follow what would Dad think or what would Dad do, Okay. I want you to follow, what would Bob do? Okay, that's how you have to leave it. And I'm going to be there and guide you, and I am guiding you, and you know that. I am watching over you, but I want you to follow you. Okay? Don't be me, be you. And that's very important for me to express that to you. And, to my beautiful and my, the love of my life, to Terry, I love you. I always have, I always will, and you're never alone, and you know that. And I know that sometimes it does get a little bit overwhelming having to make so many decisions without me physically being present there. But know that I am guiding you with answers, and you know that I'm talking to you inside your mind. So I just want to thank you for deciding to take this journey on earth with me. That was a very brave thing to do, he says. Very brave. He's giggling right now. I can hear him giggling. It's very brave of you. Thank you for being so strong, and thank you for continuing our legacy in a manner that feels right to you all, no matter what others' opinions were on the choices that were made. Don't even, family opinions didn't always match up with what you felt was right. Thank you for being brave enough to follow what was right for you. And don't ever let anyone doubt what your heart tells you, no matter who they are. And he says, to my other family members, my dad, my sisters, I love you, and I always will. He says, grief can create separation, but understand that love is the only constant in life and in death. So for all my loved ones, release the grief, release the tension, release the conflict, and embrace love. Find acceptance for the different perspectives, because no matter how different they are, they all come from a seed of love, and allow love to be the only compass for our family and for our family's future adventures. So, and last but not least, to all my friends, to all the people I worked with, to every single soul who gave their all to follow my crazy adventure, my crazy ideas. I love you all very much. And although some of you have moved away from working at the zoo, I am proud of all of you and the work that you did. And I know that all friendships never ever end, no matter where we are in the current moment on the human timeline. The friendships that were created will continue in the afterlife. So I'm sorry, he says, I'm probably taking up too much time. So let's just start with the questions, but I just really wanted to get some thank yous and some I love yous out there before we started answering your followers' questions. So, okay, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop now. Go ahead.
Thank you, Steve. I think that's a brilliant way to start. I'm delighted that you took that opportunity to say what you had to say. Oh, I hope this gets to your family.
It will.
Trust.
It will.
Okay. All right. I will trust that this will get to your family.
Terry always finds them.
Yes, Terry. Go, Terry. Okay. So we have questions about the Australian wildfires, questions about your life, and questions about your death. And we will start with the Australian wildfires. Our first question is from Josie, and she actually has a couple of questions. Why was Australia suffering such a loss of land and life from the tremendous fires they experienced? And what or why is this happening to your amazing country and the sweet, innocent animals and people?
Okay, well, evolution, expansion, change, all of it are inevitable, eternal expressions of love from God, source, from God, however you want to call it. And well, thank God for the existence of change, because that gives all of us, all consciousness, the ability, the superpower to adjust and recreate everything, every experience that we no longer want to experience or desire or need can be altered and reformed, because it is our conscious mind, it is our dreams, our hopes, our actions, our reactions, our heart's desires, our passions, our inspirations, but unfortunately also our fears, our disbeliefs, our false truths, or even our inability to see, feel, or experience love that creates our reality. Really, everything that a human contains is what creates our reality. So, so that means that Earth changes too. Earth is a spirit, is a soul, is an energy that is so massive that this might be hard for people to understand. Earth contains all of our energy. Earth is not a separate energy. People want to believe that Earth is an energy separate from humans, that we are living on her energy. We are part of her energy, which means that whatever happens, whatever we create, whatever we do throughout human timelines, it all impacts Earth. It all impacts the frequency that she vibrates on. And so sometimes she needs to do a cleansing. She needs to recalibrate everything. And so that means that Earth and all of its inhabitants are really on the same eternal expansion road to reintegration within a higher dimensional reality. Many of you who have been following spirituality are aware that we are moving into a higher frequency. We are moving into a higher dimension, and Earth preceded that, and we have to follow. Again, that kind of sounds like we're separate, but we're not. We're all part of that collective energy. So unfortunately, change and expansion can be very painful. It can be very challenging and very confronting on a human or even physical experience. So the fires in Australia, the fires in America, and there's going to be fires in Europe as well. They're all tools to neutralize the negative energies and install a new energy of rebirth. It's in a way replacing polluted energy, lower vibrational energy, with a pureness of energy, a loving energy. And fires can do that, believe it or not. Now, you see, the centuries of murdering, oppression, suppression of the original native tribes on the different continents, all the cruelty, the bloodshed, and the injustice that has filled our lands and our earth, who really gives birth to our physical bodies and provides us, like a mother does, with everything that we need: food and water, medicine, shelter, oxygen, love, beauty. You know, it has been violated and suffocated for far too long now, and we have been so unkind and abusive towards her. But the current earth energies need to be transformed so she can redefine her beingness. And so trust me when I say that from the ashes, new life and positive energy will emerge. He says many more challenges are coming for people, but these challenges, through these challenges, people will become more united. The countries will reassess their priorities, and so much beauty and love and compassion will seed from all of these challenges. So understand that all sacrifices that these souls made, and I'm talking about the animals, the people who were hurt during these fires, who perished in these fires. Understand that all sacrifices that these souls made were done out of love for all of you. Okay, these souls knew that this was going to be their exit point, and they knew that in order to wake up the world, in order to shake up people, this was going to be necessary. So this was a sacrifice that they made. So let's make sure that we use that love to complete our mission of uniting all beings in compassion and respect. And hear me when I say this, we need to hear and learn from the ancient wisdom of the world's indigenous tribes. They have passed on from generation to generation the tools and the ways of working with, living alongside, and communicating to our Mother Earth and our Father Sky. And people have dismissed it. People have tossed it in the trash, and there is so much wisdom, and that's where the answers lay. So you have to understand that they possess the wisdom that can help humanity to live with nature again instead of living next to it, to create a respectful relationship again with our amazingly beautiful planet, and really create a profound balance between all living energies, all living beings, all creatures. These tribes deserve our respect, our love, and our gratitude, because they have always respected and loved nature in every way possible, and in this way they've tried to infuse the worldly energies with empowering vibrations instead of destructing ones. So learn from them, respect them. They deserve our respect because they know how to communicate to the universe. They know how to communicate to nature, and they know how to heal it. That's what I got to say about that.
Thank you. Sarah would like to know, how are the animals that have crossed over from the Australian fires doing, and who is taking care of them on the other side? Will the animal populations recover, and will something beautiful come out of such tragic loss? You might have touched on that already.
Well, all souls that were lost in these fires, whether they chose a human, an animal, or a vegetative incarnation. And yes, trees and plants are also inhabited by soul energy people. So I always, whoever's a vegetarian, know that you're also eating a soul. Just letting you know that. Okay. So
Okay.
I just wanted to pinpoint that out. Nobody ever talks about it. Trees have souls. Plants have souls. We all have a soul energy. So, but understand that all of these souls came home safely. They were surrounded by so much love and light that really all distress, all fear, and all pain really dissolved instantly. So they all received the guidance and the assistance that they needed, and they are flourishing once again. So will the animal population recover? Absolutely. Absolutely. When we all work together, we have to work together, people. We have to work together. When we want to restore what was destroyed, we have to work together. And that contains to every single thing in our lifetime, whether it is a societal thing, whether it is a nature thing, we have to work together to heal what was ailing us, what was making us go into pain. So Will the animal population recover? Yes. Just as vegetation as well. I mean, if you look at it, you will see that through the ashes, it's already starting to restore itself. Mother Earth has massive amounts of healing power and is healing its surface as we speak. And so all tragedies are means of reconnecting with love or God source. And so from ashes, new hope, new energy, new life will always reoccur.
Thank you. Lisa, from Lisa. Oh, this is regarding Steve for Australia. Do you have any insight into why repeated requests from the RFS, Rural Fire Services, to be better prepared for fires was ignored? Does Steve know if there was an agenda behind this?
He says no. There was no secret or hidden agenda behind this. This is the result of successive governments consistently choosing to focus and place their energy in short-term economic growth and financial stability of the country. You see, they have been talking about reducing emission for 2 decades already in Australia to help with the climate change, yet still today, they continue to search and discover new sites to drill and extract oil while our country was burning. So our governments have completely ignored the advice and the recommendations of climate experts and the Meteorology Bureau, and they really have refused to invest any financial means in climate change prevention or firefighting services, which made that they were not prepared at all, which resulted in the oh so beautiful nature and wildlife of Australia and its people to be at the mercy of these catastrophic fires. But what the governments are not, and I know some might not agree, but the governments are not the only ones to blame here. We all have failed. We all have failed to take this seriously and to take responsibility for the destruction and the change of the climate. We all have to participate in saving our beautiful planet if we want to save Mother Earth and all of its inhabitants. So taking responsibility here is going to be key. It starts with every single one of you deciding to do something about it, not just putting the responsibility on a few individuals and hoping that they will fix the entire world's problem. So that's just not going to happen that way.
Amy would like to know. Amy says, hi, Steve. With everything that is going on, wildfires, human encroachment, deforestation of the rainforest, pollutants being leached into water sources, poaching, etc. If you could show the world leaders one thing that would stop all this, what would it be?
Well, like I said before, this is everybody's responsibility, but I guess I would show the massive ripple effect that every single choice has upon the universe, upon everything that is, no matter how small or innocent that choice may seem, and how everything that is them on a soul level. And so by hurting others, you hurt yourself. By hurting your planet, you hurt yourself. We're all connected. We're all one energy. So I would think I would want to show him that by throwing your little paper on the, your little plastic there, or this or that, that they were literally hurting their own soul. They were literally hurting their own energy. You have to understand that a thought, an idea, an action, or a reaction, all of it, all of these create and impact and affect every single being and living entity upon this physical world, the galaxies that surround it, and even beyond that. So what we do on this planet simply doesn't just affect us, it affects everything that is. Other planets, other species, and so on and so forth. Everything has a ripple effect, and because everything is one energy, it affects everything. So I think that's what I would show them. I would show them the true picture and the impact of our interconnectivity. That's what I would show them.
Thank you. Karen would like to know, what is the number one thing we can do about climate change?
Well, like I said, every individual needs to take responsibility for the imprint that they leave upon this world, upon this earth, this physical creation of all of us. We need to transform our consumer mindset and consumer society with its all pervasive materialism. We need to change that into a society where the quality of life is our number one priority, not how much stuff we have or what it looks like, where wealth and success is not measured by your financial status or your fame, but is measured by peace, your inner balance, your inspiration, your passion, your connection to all that is, your spiritual connection to the beyond, your loving and balanced relationship with all that surrounds us. That's wealth. That's success. To be able to be one with your entire surroundings and really be in a state of love and compassion and excitement and passion and inspiration. That's wealth. He says this current Earth collective society acts as if this is as if it's almost an impossible task to do, to switch from materialism, consumerism, being famous, being wealthy, to being happy, being balanced, being loving, being compassionate. Nowadays, this is our society is almost acting as if that's an impossible task to do. Who has the time to be happy? Who has the time to be balanced? And the reality, however, is that it's not as difficult as it may seem. The biggest restriction and the biggest challenges that humanity faces today is the inability to see everyone. The inability to see everything outside of themselves as themselves. That's the biggest challenge. As soon as we see everything and everyone as part of us, we start to respond in a very different way. To see the connection, to see through the illusion of separation, we are all one. And so everyone and everything that is a part of you. And the biggest problem is that as long as humans cannot see nature as a part of themselves, they cannot seem to bring themselves to make sacrifices for that which they believe is not them. Does that make sense? So, people cannot even love themselves enough to make sacrifices to create a healthier and a more balanced physical body for themselves. So you can see how sacrificing for nature can be challenging. They can't even do it for themselves. Oh, I know I need to get healthy, but do they do it? No, they continue the same bad habits. I know I need to be looking for a job that I really like, but what do? They continue to go and move into the job that they don't like. If they cannot even make the sacrifices for themselves, for their own health, their own joy, their own balance, how can they make sacrifices for something that they see outside of themselves, that they don't see the connection with? So you have to understand that your body is your best friend. It is what is the closest connected to our soul. And most of us treat it without any love or care. So humans still have a very, very long way to go. But everything that is happening today, yesterday, tomorrow will impact us directly from now on. It's no longer going to be out there in that country. Everything is going to start connecting everyone, affecting everyone as well. So what that's going to do is it's going to create a chain reaction to invest time, to invest energy into helping our current home, helping each other, and everything that is happening today with the virus and the racism and all of that. It is pushing us into that direction of compassion, connection, and love. That's what it's doing. And this is only the beginning. People think these are big steps we're taking. These are little baby steps we're taking, because we need to make sure that we continue to care, we continue to have compassion, we continue to work on ourselves, so we can then start to work for others. So by becoming blessed within, you can then be a blessing to others. That's really what we need to continue to work with.
Thank you. On to your life, Steve.
Crikey, I don't know if I want to tell you about that.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Marina says, hi, Steve. Good day, Steve.
Hi, Marina.
You and your family have been a huge inspiration to me, as I love wildlife and want to do what I can to help. How did you get out in the field, and what did you have to do to make an impact as big as you did?
Well, I think many people know the story. I was raised in a family where being fascinated and passionate about animals and saving and nurturing wildlife back to health was kind of an everyday event. So I was kind of, I was born into it. You know, my parents passed that passion and that love for our wildlife and our environment onto me since I was a baby. So, it was only natural for me to kind of follow in their footsteps. As for my big impact upon this world, well, I just had to be me. I never pretended to be anyone but me. And I always got excited and inspired about my job and my family and my beautiful planet with all of its magical creatures. In life, you always have to follow your passions. You have to. I mean, the moment you stop following your passion, you're just a zombie walking around on Earth, aren't you? You have to inspire yourself every day by doing what you love and what you feel called to do, and in doing so, you will automatically create and manifest experiences that will lead to more inspiration and more passion within your own reality. But this will also lead to others being inspired by the vibrational love energy that you send out daily, every time you go out the door, every time you do what you do, and every time you do what brings you joy and what brings you inner happiness and excitement. So you got to push yourself every day to follow only your highest excitement, and in doing that, all will be okay. And I know from a human perspective that seems to be very hard to do for some reason, but that's just because you're scared that your passion might not lead to your survival. And when that fear is installed, you're always self-sabotaging yourself. So, my excitement for what I did, and boy, was I excited and still am, that kind of over the top excitement got people excited too, not to do what I want to do, but they got excited about, I want to do something in life that makes me this excited as well. So I inspired people not just to get excited about our nature, to get excited about Earth. But I also inspired people to get excited about anything that they feel passionate about. And I think that was part of the deal, part of why I came here.
Thank you, Steve. B would like to know, why did you take so much risk when working with dangerous animals?
Well, well, first of all, I never saw it as dangerous. There's always a risk factor, but I didn't go into it going, "Ooh, I'm looking for danger." So I never really saw it as dangerous because I understood. And this is something I felt. This is not something that I expressed, but I always understood on a deep spiritual level how animals communicated with each other and all other species, and how they experienced their reality. And for example, I knew never to approach an animal with fear, because they can sense your fear, and they don't understand why you are so fearful. So then your fear makes them anxious, because they think, well, if this big fella is scared of something, I guess I need to be alert and ready to defend myself too. You see, so that it all kind of ties together. Your fears scare them, it influences their energetic vibration, and all animals comprehend their environment by the frequency that surrounds them in every single now moment. They don't live in the past or future. They live 1 minute at a time, and the energy vibrations that they pick up in each and every moment decides their responses and their actions. So you have to understand that, and I think that's another thing that maybe not a lot of people know, is that I never went into an interaction with an animal until I had studied everything there is to know about that species first. People think I would just jump in anywhere. I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of trying to get into the mind of the animal, trying to understand their behavior patterns, and so on and so forth. So I would study a lot, and I would make sure that I was in a good physical health as well, that I was fit and strong enough physically, because I believe that my knowledge of animals and my extensive training would keep me safe doing what I love doing, and it would help me to better interact with the animal. If I got bitten or killed, well, then that was on me. That's kind of how I saw it. So animals, just try to defend themselves or their territory. They don't attack out of spite. They don't attack out of anger or revenge. Animals are really pure creatures. They are pure creatures, pure energy. And, I got bit. I got bit a lot, but I never got angry at the animal or blamed the animal. That was on me. I wasn't paying attention to what they were trying to tell me, or, something I was missing. So the thing is, I believed that the human race was far more dangerous than the animals. That's how I lived life, because they could smile in your face and stab you in the back right after. So, I can say that as Steve, I trusted animals more than I did humans, even if I got bitten regularly by the wildlife. Their bites were not even close to be as painful as the sting of man. So I never really saw it as risks, because I studied the behavior, tried to understand their language and their habits. I trusted my intuitive guidance a lot, my gut feelings, and I try to remove all fear when interacting with them. You always have to be alert. You always have to be ready when you interact with them. You have to be ready for the unexpected. But I never saw it as dangerous. climbing up a building without a safety rope to me is dangerous. Communicating and trying to have a connection with another soul, with another living being, to me is far less dangerous. So it's exactly kind of those, those twisty feelings kind of that drive a wedge between the animal kingdom and the human race. The fear is what separates us. The not understanding, to just not being able to communicate, not because we're not communicating, but because the humans aren't listening. It's as simple as that. So what I did, I believe, was just as dangerous as crossing a street or flying in an airplane or eating unhealthy. Something can always go wrong, but if you're totally focused, totally aware, and educated about what you will be doing and prepared, then, the danger was minimized. At least that's how I experienced it.
Okay. Jasmine, can you explain your very special and close relationship with your daughter, Bindi, during the life of Steve?
Bindi. Bindi is my twin soul, which means that we are a connected consciousness created from one and the same higher soul. Twin souls are meant to help each other on a very deep-rooted level. Sometimes twin souls can be helpful with your expansion by completely driving you nuts, or they can do the same by unconditionally loving and supporting you. So in other words, we are one and the same soul expressed in two different physical incarnations. She was and still is my support and I am hers, because we have the same higher self. So I continue, which is a lot of fun too, because I also continue to experience the physical life with my family as Bindi, because I can tap into her energy because she is me. So when she hugs Terry, I sneak in there. I tap into that and I feel Terry. So she is me and I am her in two completely different incarnations. So I can tap into Mindy's body. She probably won't like hearing that probably, but I am respectful in that way. But she's me, so in a way I have access to everything. So when she hugs everyone, I have access to it. In my human consciousness, can always hug along with her, so that's a lot of fun.
Oh.
Because you have the higher self, and then you have the separate human consciousness that were created that are vibrating at a lower frequency. It's complicated. Let's not go into that. And I know that what I'm saying right now might sound like complete nonsense to some, but twin souls are more common than you think. So why did I choose to create another part of me in that lifetime? I knew that I was going to need a massive amount of support after my mother died in a car accident, or I would have sunk into a big black hole of depression, and I might have never recovered from that and achieved what I needed to achieve. Now, that support needed to be on such a deep spiritual level that unfortunately my wife, who I love eternally and unconditionally, would not even have been able to do what Bindi did for me. So in fact, I would have put, and I'll tell you why, I would have put so much pressure upon my wife for her to fix me and to heal me, to make me feel better, that it might have led to our separation as a couple. And that wasn't allowed to happen, which is why Bindi helped me with that job as a baby. You know, in a way, I healed myself through another incarnation of myself. So that's kind of funny and crazy when you think about it. But the truth is, you know, logical human thinking is boring and overall very incorrect. And so far from the universal truth of existence, so far, humans have it so wrong on so many different levels. But anyway, he's he's laughing. He's going, haha, you can't get to me anyway. I'm already home. Anyway,
Right.
so we can share the same soul. So we connected. We connected on such an outer worldly level that Bindi really pulled me through the devastation of losing my mom. But I'm happy to say that my mom was the first soul to welcome me back home, and we've been working together ever since from behind the veil. So, well, my mom and I, and okay, well, a million of other souls trying to help Earth and nature and people. Okay, so it's not just me and my mom, but I like to see it as me and my mom.
Oh. Well, this is a good segue about your explanation of your relationship with Bindi. Marilyn is asking if you and your wife are soulmates. Did you know each other in another lifetime?
Yes, we are soulmates. We're part of the same soul family. We're not part of the same higher self, if that makes sense, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I have gotten really deeply connected to her during many, many, many lifetimes. We have shared many, many lifetimes spread out over different planets and different species. So we've not just solely been together in the human form. I think one of my, well, there's always new ones being created. So, but one that I really enjoy was when we were, how would I call it? It's a small galactic family, or people call it an alien race called Taknari. They have not reached out to humans yet. They're far, far, far away. It's far away. They have not been able to reach this galaxy. He said, in that lifetime, we are guardians and we help other species to protect, to nurture, and we help species that are very much unaware of the galactic connection and the impact that their actions have upon all that is. But either way, I love my family more than words. I love my wife unconditionally. And yes, we've had many, many incarnations together in all different shapes and forms.
No surprise. Mandy would like to say, first let me say you've been such a hero in my life. I've always felt a deeper connection with animals and believed I could talk to them. It seems like you easily understood that energetic balance. How can we tap into our own innate abilities to communicate with animals?
Well, in order to communicate to animals, which, by the way, we already do unknowingly, we need to remove the idea of separation and superiority, because it is at that level of arrogance and condescension that creates an energetic barrier, an energetic, you can see it as a wall between you two. And so all communication ceases to exist, ceases to reach each other when that happens. It's like building a Berlin Wall between you, you know. It's like you're he's showing me a picture. You're here on the wall, the animal's on the other side of the wall. You know you're there, but you can no longer communicate with each other properly. So if humans truly want to learn how to communicate to each other and open up that interconnectivity, then we really need to learn to see and experience them as equals. It's not just stating that you are an equal, but feeling it on that deep cellular and spiritual level. You have to feel that you are one and the same. You need to become family. You need to become family. They need to become your friends. They need to become the ones you love so much and so deeply and so intensely that you would do anything for them, and some people have that relationship with a pet, and those people communicate to each other. Those animal, you and your pet are communicating to each other, and that's how you kind of feel what your dog is trying to say or your cat is trying to communicate to you. But we don't trust it enough. We don't trust the communication that's being sent to us. But we need to feel that with every living creature on this earth. We need to feel that closeness, that connectiveness, that family bond with each other. You need to treat each other with the same level of unconditional love and respect and dignity that you would do with the people that you love. You have to understand that in essence, a soul connected to a human incarnation and a soul connected to an animal incarnation, they are identical. They are identical. The soul is the same. So many people believe that an animal has a different kind of soul than a human. That is incorrect. We are all the same in the afterlife. And many of you have been animals, and many of you have been other species as well. Some of you have been trees and flowers and bees and insects and all of that. We are all one. We're all descendant from one source, and we are all equal in the higher vibrational frequencies, in the higher vibrational dimensions. So be careful how you treat animals, because they might just be an incarnation from your deceased mother or your deceased father or your son or daughter or any other loved one that you connected to on a spiritual level in some lifetime. So you have to always keep that in the back of your mind. And also, stop trying to teach animals to learn your way of communication. We see that all the time with primates. Instead, put in the effort to learn the animals' languages, to communicate through a mix of many different languages, because they don't use one language. We use verbal communication and body language, which is very limited. They use body language, telepathy, verbal communication, and energetic expression. They have 4 languages that have merged into one way of communication, and we can barely tap into 2 of them, the body language and the verbal communication. We can hear it, we can see it, but we're not always sure what it means unless you really dig in deep. And some beautiful spirits, some humans have done that, have really spent their entire lifetime studying and being amongst primates and other animals, trying to understand them, trying to find a way to understand their communication. So when communicating, you need to follow your intuitive sense always, and you need to trust what you receive in your mind and in your heart, because they are sending you all the information right here and right here, okay? But humans need to learn to listen. You need to learn to listen in a different way than they are used to. So open your intuition, observe their body language, learn to feel energy. We all have the ability to do it. We already do it, but we do it subconsciously. Become aware. Consciously feel energy instead of intuitively and instinctively doing it. Become aware and turn it into conscious awareness of feeling energy, communicating with energy, telepathy, and so on and so forth. Because as humans reopen and develop all of those skills, which we naturally have, all of us, we are just taught, we are no longer taught to use it. But as we reopen all of that, and if you are willing to connect to all levels of beingness, meaning to every living I don't want to say living, it's all alive. Every conscious awareness that's out there in whatever form it presents itself, and do so with the utmost respect and love, then communication will become possible in the future between different species. And it will happen. How fast it happens is up to you guys, is up to how fast you are willing to invest time, energy, and focus into developing yourself and all of your senses. And I'm not just talking about the five senses that we focus on, but I'm talking about 8 senses that we have that 99% of population have not yet tapped into. So we need to continue spiritual development. We need to continue to use the intuitive skills that were all placed upon us and within us, and develop them more and more and more. And you will see that not only will humans be able to do extraordinary things, but they will also be able to open the communication to everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Lori would like to know, did you choose to exit this life when you did? And if so, why?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I actually had a few exit points integrated in my life structure because it was my goal to only leave when the seed of animal preservation was firmly planted within people's hearts and growing, starting to grow. Because I was here to plant it. I was here to raise awareness within people as a conservationist, as a wildlife supporter, as an environmentalist, as the crazy man who loved animals so much that that love killed him. I was here to do that. Now, you might ask yourself, why such a dramatic exit? Well, I just wanted to go home doing something that I loved. And my higher soul chose this early and dramatic exit because a person's legacy takes on a whole different turn when you go home in an unexpected and dramatic way. And my exit inspired my family to continue to do the hard work that we do. It inspired my children to follow into my footsteps because in doing so, they would continue to feel my immediate presence, my influence through the work that they are doing every day. It kind of keeps me close inside their hearts and inside their dreams. And lastly, it inspired millions outside of my family to continue the oh so necessary conservation work because I couldn't finish what I started here on Earth. So understand the difference with dying of old age and dying a young man and a tragic death. It highlights and empowers others to continue the energy given to the work that I was here to do and the love that I was here to share. Okay, old age didn't fade me out of the minds of people, which it usually does. You see that with a lot of actors. They retire, they disappear. People, they're still there, but they're in the back of the mind, and they no longer have such an impact on the world. When you look at humans, many choose a dramatic exit like this because it leaves such a deep impact within their hearts and within the hearts of people and their fans. And if you think about it, they still have millions of fans and people that are inspired by them, driven by the love that they had for their deceased idols. So no matter how long ago they went home, no matter how much humans try to avoid tragedy and drama, whether they want to admit it or not, tragedy and drama drives humans to live a more intense life, which shows in the human interests and love for reality shows. So, if you look at Marilyn Monroe and you look at Elvis Presley and everybody, Kurt Cobain, all of that, everybody who had this sudden, unexpected, kind of dramatic exit still lives on today in our daily lives, still leaves an impact today on how people are inspired, how people are passionate about what they were passionate about, and so on and so forth. So I believe that my exit point has left that same impact on people to continue the work that they knew I was here to do. And it has only grown and doubled in size as my family continues my legacy. Hence, that chosen exit point.
Monica says, "Hi, Steve. How was your life review? And I wonder if being an animal lover was part of your contract." I think you've answered part of that.
Well, my life review was awesome. Once you see the impact you have upon this universe, you are just blown away of how powerful you really are. And, I knew I had left a big impact upon Earth, but to see how it extended upon galaxies and planets beyond my imagination, now that was a really incredible experience. And, I loved life to the fullest. I tried to live it all the way. I tried to be the best me that I could be. And I tried to be of service to all in some way or form. So my life review was one hell of a movie, I have to say. And, I also saw how my so-called mistakes were directed and were created. So I would get my stubborn head out of my arse and do the inner work that I refused to do because I was very stubborn in that way. So the review made me feel really good about all my achievements and even made me even more proud of everyone who was part of that life and who still is part of that life. And, it even made me feel proud of how I experienced and went through all of my failures. So there are no failures. It's all a perfectly created scenario that sometimes your higher soul improvises on in order to, gotta go that way, gotta go that way, let's improvise, let's create something to push you there and have that experience. So, but know that no matter how disappointed you might feel, or how painful certain experiences are, everything is set in place with purpose and intention. And once you get your life's review, it just all makes sense. And this feeling of failure or disappointment instantly gets removed from your essence. And it's a beautiful experience. And so to everyone who's not feeling good about their life, who's not, who is in pain, who is disappointed, know and understand that you're in control of your emotions. You're in control of how you see things. You're in control to change the perspectives, to change your thoughts, your ideas, your understandings, your beliefs. You're in control of all of it. So don't see failures, just see stepping stones in becoming a more complete version of yourself. That's what you gotta do.
Angela would like to know if you have any regrets about your life as Steve. You answered how your family life was. You've discussed that, but any regrets?
No. No. No, absolutely no regrets. Because, like I said, what my life review showed was how everything leads to exactly what I wanted to experience, no matter whether it was good or bad, how amazing my family bubble is, and how I inspired thousands to continue my work and open their hearts to our inspirational work of beauty and life. So that said, I do miss not physically being there, to walk Lindy down the aisle, or to teach Bob everything that I know, or, to hug and kiss my wife, to be the guide and inspiration for my family and my zoo family, and so on. So, to everyone listening today, don't take any minute for granted. Every day on earth, in this physical reality that is created by all of us, even if it feels challenging or scary, it's, it is magical, and it's in everything is part of a bigger plan, much bigger than yourself. So to find happiness, you start to find happiness and fulfillment in living a life of purpose and service for yourself and all others, because we're all one family, and we all just want to feel happy, safe, and abundant. We all want the same thing, and start treating each other, no matter how different you think or feel about things. We're all human. We all want happiness, abundance, love, balance, peace. We all want the same things, and we're only gonna make this world a better place, this creation a better reality, when we all work together instead of working against each other, trying to determine who's right and who's wrong. It's not about right or wrong. It's about finding a middle solution to heal our species, our planet, and everyone on it.
I hope you know what the last question is, because you gotta expand on that. Anyway, we're gonna talk about a tiger for a minute. Sharon would like to know about the Tasmanian tiger. Although the Tasmanian tiger was officially declared extinct several decades ago, many sightings are still being reported. Are there any Tasmanian tigers still living in the wild?
Yes. There are still a few living on Earth. However, they are being protected and hidden by ETs in order to ensure their survival. You see, when humans start to respect and protect Earth and all of its inhabitants again, only then will they rediscover that some species that humanity thought was extinct have returned. So, and this might sound weird to some people, but some species that were on the verge of extinction were relocated to other planets as well. Some are being kept here if they need a specific environment for their survival. Some are kept here being protected by ETs who raise their vibrational frequency in order for them to almost become invisible to the human eye, so they can reproduce. Others are being taken away from here if the environment is no longer suitable for them, and are being placed on planets that have a more suitable environment. And others, unfortunately, are completely lost. It saddens me to see that even in today's society, so many are on the verge of extinction, and we have all of these technologies, and not one is helping these animals. So, humanity's priorities need to be shifted in order to save these animals. We have the kindness of other species, ETs, who are willing to intervene every now and then to help save a species. However, they are not able to save all of them. Another thing that maybe people don't know either is that many ET species found their new home in our planet thousands of years ago. And so a lot of the animals that you now know as being earth animals, or actually came here thousands of years ago from other planets as well, who were planets who were being destroyed, and so on and so forth, in order to save the species. So there is an exchange between, an intergalactic exchange to preserve species. All I can say is, let's all take our responsibility and protect all species so they can continue to grace us with their magnificent beauty and their presence.
And the last question from Janie is, do you have any more? Do you have any last inspiring words to share with the world? Thank you, Steve.
Crikey, haven't I said enough by now?
I know, that's why I gave you some warning on the last question. I did.
Okay, last question.
More inspiration,
well,
Steve.
I don't know if I can give more, but life is not as complicated as people make it out to be. Passion, love, and finding fulfillment in what you do leads to more love, more abundance, more inspiration, more passion. Need I say more? Also, all change and healing requires love, but it also requires patience, self-discipline, and endurance. And so it is the responsibility of all beings inhabiting this earth to learn to understand each other, to prioritize, and to work together for the many years of ascension that are happening and that are still to come. You know, the ascension is not a 1 year we're done. It is years and years and years. So united in unconditional love and universal connectiveness, we can change and turn things around for the better for all of us. We can only achieve our goals if we work together. Don't expect others to fix it for you. Each and every one of you needs to do the work and create the changes inside and out. Okay, so don't rely on politicians to fix the problems. Don't rely on leaders and just the environmentalists and the scientists to fix everything. We have to all work together, or we are not going to survive as a human species. It's as simple as that. Earth will survive, she'll be fine, but humanity might not. So it is crucial that we start today, not tomorrow, not in a year. We have to start today. And last but not least, I want to say the human condition is chosen by souls to have the very deep and intense emotional experience and physical expressions of love and compassion. And I see so many of you diving into spirituality in order to escape the human condition and the human world. That is not why you're here, or how to properly use spiritual and universal wisdom and knowledge. You're not here to escape your current situation. You're not here to flee from being human. You're here to use spirituality as a tool to become a better human. So spirituality is not meant to take you away from your human experience, but it is meant to bring you closer to what a human is meant to be. Loving, adventurous, compassionate, creative, passionate. So, my final words. You ready for them?
Crikey.
Crikey, we're all ready for it. Incorporate spirituality daily in your human practice and remove all feelings of loneliness and separation by reconnecting and caring for yourself, your amazing planet, and all of its inhabitants.